Next pattern is null pointer pattern. This is pretty straightforward pattern. What is it? Avoid null references by providing a default object. So in Java, usage of null is kind of, you know, discouraged. It's kind of abnormal. You don't actually deal with the null as part of your business logic. So instead of actually using null, you are going to actually have a real object that represents a null for that particular object. So when to use it when checking null reference is not desirable, and that's usually the case. Okay, so null is just too low level reference. So let's take a look at the exercise 8, the null pointer example. So basically, let's say we have a set of students. So we have the student factory. So let me show you student factory. And now what we so actually let me explain the abstract student first. So what we want to do is that we are going to have an abstract student, and this student has a name, and it does have a get name method. It could have a few more the business logic method. Now we are going to have a real student class which implement abstract student. Okay, so it will actually return real name. Now we are going to create a null student class. So null student class will just return not available in student database. Okay, so you can see this is a real object. Okay, but just representing kind of null student in a sense. Okay, so now in a student factory class, let's we have the 4 students: Sang, Mary, Tom, and Jolly. And then if I want to get all students, okay, I am going to, so I'm going to actually give a name. So get student will give a name, and then it will return real student object. Otherwise, if the name is not found in this data set or database, it will return null student. Okay, so in the client code, basically it will try to get a student Sang, Mary, Kevin, and Larry. And we know if you take a look at the student factory, we have Sang, Mary, and Tom Jolly. So Sang, Mary, and Tom and Jolly. Sang is a real student, Mary is a real student, but Kevin and Larry, they are null student in a sense. Okay, so when we call this application, run as and Java application, it will say Sang and Mary, and then the null object representing Kevin and Larry. Right? So idea of null object is to deal with the object even for null case. That's all. General case is pretty similar. So we have abstract thing, and then we have a null thing, and then you have a real thing. Right? So it's works pretty much the same, except that I'm using generic terminology such as a thing rather than student. And then we have a thing factory. Okay, it has a set of data set. I mean, again, this could be actually coming from a database or web services or something like that. Okay, so depending on whether the real object is available or not, it could return either real thing object or null thing object. Right, so very straightforward. Let's see, do we have homework? Yeah, so you are going to create so animal data set. So let's take a look at the client. So create the animal data set with monkey, deer, lion, and bird, and try to get animal of monkey, deer, and cheetah and tiger, and use null object pattern for non-existent animals such as tiger. Okay. All right, so this is pretty straightforward. So let me just stop